I had a person reach out to me on my Instagram asking me if it was a good time for someone of this individual's age and status and experience to start in real estate and become a real estate agent, because they, through my videos on YouTube, through my Instagram, they seem to think that I'm very successful at it, which I, happily am. But they also thought that it would be something for them as well, right? And they, texted me this long paragraph asking me, should I start? What do you think? And before we give our feedback, which I already gave to this individual privately, but I thought it would be a good point of conversation for us. I asked this individual to call me and we can have a phone conversation. We had it. So first off, if someone were to reach out to you in similar vein, what would your feedback to this person be? And I can tell you specifically when I talk to this individual, I can give you more details without revealing too much because age and all that matters. But
Right. Well,
generally speaking, if someone reaches out to you asking, hey, should I in 2020 start in Toronto as a realtor, is it for me?
No, you should hire me. There you go.
No, but all
No,
joking aside, would you recommend it as a career for someone?
Yes, I do. Listen, as long as you're of decently mature age, like if you're like 14, 15, then that's quite a bit young. But if you're in your
I don't
early
think you
20s,
can even get your license at
you
that age.
can't, but you can. Yeah, you can't. It's not even about getting a license. You can't. You're right.
Yeah.
What's the age? 18, I think.
18, yes.
18, right. So even if you're 18, I think if you want to make a career out of it, then absolutely. Then you gotta go for it, and you really gotta work hard at it. Is there a great time, or is there a good time to ever become a real estate agent? No, I don't think there is. I don't think it's something that you can time and say, I'm going to wait until the market turns around or this or that. With the exception of personal circumstances aside, don't look at how the market is doing to determine whether you want to become a real estate agent or not. It's certainly a lucrative business if you work very hard at it. It's not just like one of these people have this misconception that you get a license, you do a couple of deals, and then all of a sudden you're driving a Ferrari. You might see that on Instagram, but that's not at all the case. So if you're willing to bust your hump and work very hard, then it can be a very lucrative and great career path. So would I recommend it? Yes. But if you're not willing to put in the work, and if you're not willing to hustle and really understand the business, understand the numbers, know how to negotiate, listen, learn, work under a mentor, then it's going to be a very difficult business, and it's not going to be as it's not going to go as well as you want it to go. And I think a lot of people do get discouraged and end up parking their license or going back to whatever job it is that that they had, or they just change fields. It's certainly something you gotta have thick skin to be in this business, and you gotta look past the failures, the disappointments, the no's. You're going to hear a lot of no's from a lot of potential clients and people, and if you can't deal with that, and you can't look past that, then it's not a business that you should be in.
So that's exactly what happened. I asked for this individual to call me to have a better in-depth discussion with her on the phone. And before we get into the advice I gave this person, funny enough, I asked her, have you asked other realtors and what feedback have they given you? And funny enough, she said, all of them said, don't get involved. And they were very negative about it. Which I don't find surprising at all, because I think there is a sense of scarcity that a lot of agents work with in this business. And some of it is founded, some of it is justified. I mean, the barrier of entry is far too easy. I personally would love if it was harder to become a realtor.
Yes, I agree with
because
that.
the dumb bring us down. At the same time, you have been good about pointing this out, that even though there are a lot of uneducated people who don't really know how to do this job well, who have a license due to the low barrier of entry, and that brings our name down as professionals. It provides us an opportunity to, as the better ones, as the good ones, to truly excel and separate us ourselves from the pack. So having said all of that aside, I do understand why.
What is a scarcity? Sorry, what do you mean? A sense
Scarcity.
of scarcity?
The definition of scarcity is.
I know what it means,
Oh,
but
okay.
why do you think there's a sense of scarcity?
Because a lot
in
of
the
realtors think that it is oversaturated, and in a certain sense, it is. There are, in terms of the number of professional realtors,
So that they will lose another deal. There's more competition.
There's more competition. Now, I'm not saying that's how you think. I'm saying
Right.
that's how a lot of people think, and that's why I think they gave him that advice to not get involved. It's not the right time, out of just pure cynicism and scarcity, which, once again, some of it is justified, but not to that extent. Point being, though,
Before you continue, I just want to say something about the scarcity thing. That's because their mindset is scarce. They come from a scarce mindset. This business, there's ample opportunities. There's ample opportunities. There's endless amounts of clients, endless amount of money that you can make, endless opportunities in the sense that there's so many different niches in real estate that you can focus on, where there's not a lot of competition, or you can really excel and shine through in the business. Like, I mean, there's condo specialists, there's pre-construction condo specialists, resale condo specialists, leasing specialists, land procurement specialists, land developments. The list can go on and on and on and on. And I think anyone that says no because there's already too many agents just is not doing very well, I guess. I think.
Well, no, you can acknowledge that it's very competitive, at the same time not have this
It
defeatist attitude about it.
Business,
It is the nature of the business. Point being, though, what I told her all of this. One thing you touched on as well was the fact that if you can't handle no, then it's probably not the business for you, right?
Right.
And I said that in different words to this individual. I said, look, in this business, and frankly put, in my opinion, you deal with a lot of rejection, right? Mm-hmm. Now, it's not necessarily rejection in a malicious way. It's not someone always telling you no. It's sometimes the deal not going through, right? Someone told you yes, and just the stars didn't align for the deal to go through. Right. That's a form of rejection as well, right? Yep. And if you don't know how to deal with it and just take it on the chin and move on, right? It's probably not for you. Furthermore, there's a lot of this individual also asked me the same question, like, is it the market? Is it the market? According to the market, is it a good time to get involved now? And I said, well, if you're going to think like that, it's probably a bad way to start, right? Because you're going to have peaks and valleys. That's just, you're going to do some years way more business than the preceding year, right? Point is for you to do your business consistently, so the peaks and the valleys are a little more at an equilibrium. Yeah, like there's a moving average. Yeah. So if you think about it in terms of an opportunistic stance, oh, the market's hot right now, so I can get involved. Well, what are you going to think when the market's low? Are you thinking you're not going to do any business?
So one thing I wanted to say about these people that are trying to time it, especially when they see that the market is pretty hot and there's a lot of sales going on or prices are creeping up, is that if they're trying to time it and that's when they want to get into the market, then these are generally the people that don't last very long. They essentially might make a bit of money, and then when the market settles down or maybe goes on decline, they end up leaving the business because they just couldn't cut it. They didn't save their money, and they don't have enough of a client base. And so anyone that's trying to time the market, especially when they see that it's on the up and they want to get into the game, then generally don't last very long. And so this industry, despite having a lot of licensed agents, has a pretty high turnover rate. Most of them only do a couple of deals a year. A lot of them don't do anything, just have a park license. And the majority of the deals are done by maybe 10% or 15% of the industry.
I would say it's not even the fact that a couple of them do just a couple of deals a year, because, you know, if you're dealing in like $5 million properties, you do a couple of deals a year, you're perfectly fine to go. I think what you're trying to say is,
I mean, even those guys, they do a lot more than a couple of deals, even at that price point.
yeah, my point is not the quantity of deals they do, it's the quality of deals they do, and it's how they do those deals. It's usually they're doing another day job, and there's someone in the family, one of their friends wants the property. They bring up, oh, I have a client, or I have a license. It's just usually people. There's a lot of agents who do this as a secondary side income.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're not full-time agents. I don't consider that person a real estate professional. They're not.
They're not a real estate professional, but when you look at it, just the number of how many people are licensed to be realtors
Right.
or real estate agents, they count.
I know they count. That was my point. That a lot of them only do a couple of deals a year, if that, because they are part-time agents and they have a full-time job.
Yeah.
And if you have a multi-million-dollar property, don't give it to one of these people, because they're not going to be able to negotiate and sell it the way that a full-time professional does it.
No, these people usually work on the buying side, typically.
Right.
But point being, I'm surprised of what your feedback would be.
Why?
Because I thought you would be much more I don't think you come from a place of scarcity. I know this. I know Ali. The last thing he thinks of is scarcity. He's a very hungry individual and works very, very hard. That's why he's very successful. But you are a little bit more cutthroat, in the sense of, I feel like if someone were to come to you, your suspicions would be raised, and you would immediately say, you know what, maybe that's not for you. Maybe I got the wrong impression, but
Well, it seems like it. It depends on a person. Like, if I know the person very well, and I know their personality and their character, I'll say, listen, based on what I know of you, I don't know if it's the right fit, but if you really want to do it, I encourage you to go for it.
sure.
Right? It depends on a person. If it's just a random person off the street, I don't know. Hey, get into the business.
Well, that's why
you have to bust your hump. Don't think it's an easy paycheck. It's not.
It's not. And that's why I asked her to call me, so I can get a better feel for
Right.
what kind of. And one of